Welcome back to Simply 1% with Meredith and Wendolyn. We're so glad that you're back. Today, we're going to talk about masking and movie moments. Many of us have learned to mask throughout our lives. We just needed to be someone we thought everybody else wanted us to be. Have you ever felt like you couldn't be yourself in many different situations, especially social situations, or around family, or around anybody that you just didn't fully believe that they would get you? You wouldn't be understood. They were going to judge you. So you try to fit in. You do the thing that you think you're supposed to do. Say the words. Behave the way you are supposed to. Dress the way. All of those moments that we've had in life that we have designed to connect the people around us. And it's kind of like we're doing an experiment, but we don't realize that we're doing it. Today, we're going to talk about masking and how we all do it. I'm Meredith. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and coach, and I've been doing this for over 15 years. And I was also an educator for over 20 years. So I worked with many students who are both neurodivergent, neurotypical. I had an awesome opportunity to help start schools in the Bay Area for gifted children, specifically profoundly gifted children. So I observe this quite often and how students do this. Wendolyn didn't really know that she was doing this growing up, but we're going to find out exactly when we figure that out in her movie moment, as she's called them, which I love. Go ahead,
Oh,
Wendolyn.
yeah, I'm Wendolyn. I am a life coach. I really, really, really don't like that title, but that's just what I have to use. I'm a truth speaker, truth seeker. I'm an advice giver extraordinaire, that kind of deal. So I am also neurodivergent, which I
Mm,
didn't know, which I
God
didn't
bless
know.
us. Yeah,
Right.
everyone.
I mean,
Yeah.
it took a long time. And this is the thing. I remember, like, I've known Meredith since my freshman year of college.
Mm.
And I remember knowing she was unique, and I remember I would
Stop.
bump into her the most random times, and she was always on some kind of adventure, even if it was just at the park, like, "I'm doing this." Like, I was like, "Oh my gosh," it's like, "She's so unique, she's fun." Like, she taught me how to that it's okay to cry in public. I mean, I just remember lots of key moments with Meredith, but it was not like we were BFFs in
Mm-mm.
college,
Mm-mm.
but she's known me since then. And I remember one day just telling her, "Oh, I'm just so frustrated with myself, these things that I was doing." And she goes, "Wendolyn, you you do know that you have ADD, right?" And I went, "Meredith, I don't." Like that. I was so confident. I'm telling a professional that has known me for 20 plus years. No, you're wrong. Okay. So let's just
Who also has it herself. And typically, what we do is we find the other neurodivergent people and those with ADD to relate with, and we don't even recognize we're doing it. We were meant to meet. We
Mhm,
were meant to meet. Like,
mhm.
you just know when your people are there
Yeah.
because you and I have never masked with one another. We've
No,
never had to wear
no,
masks. Not
no.
not one time.
No,
Not one
and this is
time.
the thing. You find your people. I realized I'm in a freaking sea full of neurodivergent people in my life. And you know what it is? Would say something and not feel like a fool and they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, we're best friends. Like
Exactly.
we're BFFs because she didn't look at me like I had 3 heads."
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, I understand everything that you just said."
Everything. And so, like, even the people listening to the other podcast about ADD, how many people contacted me that know me, who are people who I'm close to, are like, "Gwendolyn," like, I'm like, "Yeah, that's why we're friends, because something's not right, and we know this about each other, and we feel comfortable, and we're not masking around each other." That's the
Oh,
thing.
it's so true. I would love for you to share your movie moment with us,
Mm.
Gwendolyn.
Mhm,
One
mhm.
of
Many,
one of
really.
my favorite stories of you, and I think we've all been there. So, please
Oh.
share it with the world.
I call them movie moments because in my head, I remember watching movies as like a young girl and be like, "Oh, so that's how I'm supposed to act." So I would be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's it. I'm going to do this because that's normal." And so I remember in high school, I did not date. Like, I was not someone who dated. I was not someone who would go after boys. I was boy crazy in secret, but, like, I was just never,
Mhm.
that girl. But I remember, and I will share 0 names, people. There will be no names in this.
He knows who he
So
is, though. He
I
knows who
don't
he
think
is.
he does. Well, if he hears this, he's gonna go, "Oh my goodness, I blocked that out because it was so traumatic." That's what'll happen. He'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this girl just brought back a trauma for me. I remember her now." He's probably blocked me completely from his memory. There was a guy in high school. It was my freshman year, okay? I was the girl because at the time, remember, I didn't know I was neurodivergent, but did I wear sweatpants every day? Yes, ma'am, I did. Why? Because I didn't like the way jeans felt. They were cold when you put them on, and they're scratching my legs, and I don't like that. So I had every color Walmart had to offer of
Mhm.
sweatpants. I remember one
Mhm.
time I wore jeans, and this guy, who I won't mention his name either, he said, "Oh my gosh, everyone." I walked in the class, he goes, "Wendolyn wore jeans today." Wendolyn wore something other than sweatpants. And somehow I thought I was fooling the world that nobody noticed that I just wore sweatpants every day. I don't know
Wait,
until
were
he
you
said that.
wearing jeans this day when you had this movie moment? Did you
No,
put
no,
this
no, no, no. No, no,
Oh,
no, no,
you
no.
were still in the sweatpants. I
I
just
was
wanna
still in the
get a
sweatpants.
visual. Can you just give us a visual, please, before you
Oh, yeah.
start?
Let's
Yeah.
make sure that we understand my big, red, curly, out of control hair, because at the
Mm.
time, I was still figuring this out.
Yeah, you didn't know.
And yeah, no, 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 no.
Mm-mm.
And so my hair is everywhere. I always had kind of a sweat stash going on because of the hair. and and the sweatpants in the summer. So there's that.
My god. I don't know if
And
we're gonna be able to get through this episode.
so you can only imagine. You can only imagine. I'm already sweaty. I've
Mhm.
got the sweatpants on. Don't know the color that day. I'm sure I probably thought, this is a good color to try this on. Like, try what I'm about to do. Good color for it. But my sister would drive us to school and back, and she had this little red car. And, my sister was very different from me. I mean, physically, everything, were just night and day. And she would always wait in her car for me at the back of the parking lot because we were always just a smidge, like we were just right on time. So we're always in the back parking lot. And I was walking past this guy's car who was, I think when I was a freshman, he was either a junior or senior. Did not know who I was. I had one class with him. Don't ever think he even saw me. If I walked past him, he'd be like, "Oh, a new girl." Like, really, unless he envied my sweatpants that day. Who knows? Maybe he was like,
He might
"I
have
like
been wearing the
sweatpants."
same ones,
You
yeah.
don't know. You don't
You
know.
don't know.
But somehow
Mm-mm.
I had convinced myself. I saw him in his truck. Oh, and I'm giving details. People need to calm down. Don't be trying to figure who this person is. So anyway, I saw him in his truck. The
What color
nicest
was
guy
the
too.
truck?
I don't even know. Thank God with aphantasia, I don't remember these details.
That's true.
But he was the nicest guy. Thank God, because I needed grace at this moment. But I was walking past his truck and I was like, just try it. Like, let him know who you are.
Mm.
Be the girl in the movie that, yeah, you're going to introduce yourself to this guy. And he's going to be like, "I have been waiting for this." So he's waiting in line to get out of the parking lot. And I open his his
Oh my
passenger.
gosh, I forgot that part.
I just open it. And thank God it wasn't locked. Well, you know what? Maybe it should have been locked. Maybe I wouldn't have gone as far as I did. Maybe I'd have been like, thank you, Jesus, for doing that for me. But it wasn't. It wasn't locked. Oh, maybe I could have played it off if it was. But anyway,
You're there, aren't you,
I'm
right
feeling
now?
like
You're
I'm there.
still
Listen.
activated. Yep, yep. We can work through this later, but go
Because
ahead. Keep going.
so I open the door, and at that moment I realize, what are you going to do? He looks at me with horror. Like, who is this girl opening my door? And I said, very fast, very fast, "My sister left me. Can you take me home?" Wasn't true. Nope.
Mm. Oh my
Belinda's
god,
waiting for me.
I can't.
My sister's waiting for me in the
I
car.
feel so awkward right now.
And he's terrified. He's absolutely terrified. Here's a girl with a sweat stash, big, huge, curly hair. just frazzled. And he goes, yeah, sure. Cause he's a gentleman. This guy was a sweet Southern boy. Okay. And I'm just going for it. I'm gonna shoot my shot. It did not turn out the way that I thought. It doesn't end there. He goes, yeah, sure. Takes his book bag off of the seat where I was going to sit down, where he thought, oh, yeah, I'll just have to take her home. I don't even know who she is. You know what I did? I realized at that very moment I had made a mistake. All of it was a mistake. All of it. Even down to the sweatpants, okay? I
You're like, "Oh,
knew
he's gonna do it."
he's going to do it.
Even
And
down
I
to
also saw the horror in his face. So I was like, I've made a big mistake. I've made a mistake. So you know what I did? I said, psych, and slammed the door and ran away. Ran with my really heavy book bag that was jarring me, like, because I was
Uh-huh.
running and it was
Yeah.
throwing me to different sides. And so you could tell that I was off balance. And
You were zigzag
I was
you were
zigzagging.
zigzagging it?
And it wasn't on purpose. It was just out of control because this book
Mm,
bag was so heavy.
yeah.
And my hair was crazy. I was running. I ran to my sister's car. I got in passenger seat, slammed the door, and Belinda goes, "What's your problem?" I said, "Just drive." I was so mad at myself. I just sunk down into the chair, into like, and I just wanted to be one with the floorboard. I was like, oh, to be the floorboard right now would be so great. I just melted. I was like, please. I felt like the world saw what I did. But I realize as I'm an adult now, and I can look back at these moments, and as hilarious as they are, one, you're kind of experimenting as a kid. You don't really know who you are. And
Mm-mm.
sometimes you don't have the guidance of an adult to be like, oh, I see you. And these are, this is your personality. This is who you are. These are great things about you. And so I was just kind of testing the waters. And I mean,
Yeah.
my hormones had a lot to do with it as a teenage kid, right?
Itty developmental time, so,
But I
yeah.
think about that and I'm like, it wasn't just that. It was times even after college where I was like, I'm gonna be someone else. I started buying like sport. I mean, I'm out of college. I should know better. I started buying like really sporty things like North Face. And I was like, oh my goodness, look at me. I remember one time you had a kayak and I was like, I'm going to get a
Mhm.
kayak. And I got a kayak. You know what I did? Strap that sucker right on top of my Jeep. Did I ever really use the kayak? Maybe twice. But did I drive around town and be like, people think I'm a kayaker? 100%.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yes.
look at me. But it's interesting to me because it really was this, who am I? Like, am I good
Mhm.
enough? And so you had mentioned masking and all of this.
So, masking is a term we use. It's when you have neurodivergent characteristics and you're trying to appear more neurotypical and fit in. And it's really to the fear of judgment, stigma, what you believe other people need you to be essentially for them in order to be accepted. So, unfortunately, it creates physical exhaustion, anxiety, depression. It's related to self esteem and confidence. And oftentimes, it makes it really challenging to embrace your authentic self. That's why when you and I talk about meeting, and when you say we meet our people, you know
Mm,
it when you do not have a mask at all. And I'm not saying that happens all the time, but it has happened, fortunately, it's happened for me many times in my life where you just meet your people. And it's one of the greatest feelings, really, isn't it? Just to be like, you and I have never had an argument, and I think we said this before, but, like, it's just fascinating, and we're not, like, exactly alike. We we have a lot of things in common, we like a lot of the same things, but wasn't that, it was this thing that neither you or I, we did not
mhm.
know that we had that then. We just knew that we were definitely unique or different, and I have been told that my whole life, but no one knew. I was just weird, or but people were, like, really actually kind of nice to me, I have to say. They really did try to use the word unique as often as they could.
Oh, I got that all the time. You're so unique.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
am my own person. I always have been, no matter how insecure I felt.
Mhm.
I do believe it has a lot to do with my home environment. I knew that I could be, like, accepted there, and I also don't think I had a choice. I don't I really don't. I don't think I could do it if I wanted to. Remember we were talking about impulsivity and ADD? I think I always am, have always been some level of often. I was just thinking of the story from college when, my crush in college,
Oh,
and
you said something, yes.
do you
Yeah,
remember
and you
this?
left it there. I do remember because I had a very emotional response to it.
You did, you
I
did.
coiled up, I went, "Oh, that's ballsy." Yeah.
So, I had yes, my crush, but also really good friend, very confusing situation, especially for a neurodivergent person.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know how to read it. I thought I was reading it one way. There were so many times where it was like, "Is this a thing? Is this not a thing?" He and I had really great talks, again, another neurodivergent person who saw me, appreciated me. I hadn't dated at all. So I was like, "Oh, maybe this is it." Also, like, a very good-looking guy, which I was like, "Oh," at that time, lower
Mhm.
self-esteem, he's paying attention to me, this is gonna help me socially. So I had all of this construct, I guess that's the word. I didn't plan it out exactly, but I knew what I was doing to position myself socially and to have somebody like this as a friend, possibly
Mm.
someone who could like me, a crush. I worked so hard on that, but not too hard. But I had so many embarrassing moments with him, and I don't even know if this is an embarrassing moment because I'm still proud about it to this day because I had had it.
I love it, I love it,
I had
yeah.
had it. So, I think it was probably 2.5 years into our friendship. Was it longer? I don't know.
Mhm.
I finally I went to his dorm out of the blue. I think I knocked on somebody's window and said, "Can you go get him? I need to talk to him." So, he came out and I said,
Can we just tell people though that we went to a university where it was strictly boy dorms and girl dorms? This
"Oh,
wasn't part of her neurodivergent self where she just went knocking on windows. Like, people are like, "Why didn't you just why didn't you just go to his door?"
that's so true."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That probably
yeah.
worked really well for us though, don't you think?
Oh, the amount of embarrassing bleh, makes me sick to even think about it, like, that would have been a nightmare.
Know how people do it.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So, he comes out, I had it planned. I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't know what was gonna come out of my mouth. Well, this did. So, I said to him, "Look, you know that I like you. It's not a secret. We have a great friendship. I don't really know how you feel about me. It has been very confusing at times. So I would like this. I think it would be great, but this is the last time I'm going to talk about it, and the ball is in your court." And I got into my Jetta. I rode away. I rode away. People say I'm like the risk taker or ballsy or
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it. I think I've been raw dogging it through life for a really long time. It's been really hard for me to just be silent too. And still, let me tell you, the tact that I
Mm.
did not have a lot in my life, a little bit with the impulsivity, a lot with the neurodivergence, because I knew what I was saying most of the time was true. I knew it was right. I did it at the wrong time. I did it with the wrong tone. People didn't want to hear what I had to say. But oftentimes, I felt the only thing that I really had to offer was maybe my intelligence, my life experiences, basically that.
Mm.
So I tried to relate to others in that way. And I got a lot of great feedback too from people who were, "Well, Meredith, like, how do you have this advice as a 10-year-old?" I remember I was even younger and I
Mm.
was friends with my mom's friends, and I would have great conversations with them and we would have conversations, normal adults, and here I am, 10,
Yeah.
11, 12 years old. It's a very neurodivergent thing to do as well, because we're really trying to understand the world and the people around us who in high school, for example, partying, dating, doing all the things that people kinda check off the list, I just thought it was dumb. I
Mhm.
thought it was absolutely dumb. I was like, "This is a waste of time." I
Mm.
couldn't and I couldn't figure it out. And I just knew anytime I tried to do something socially, I was always on the peripheral, on the outside, I should just say that, and I would have to watch the situation like a creeper, I guess, and I had to figure out when can I and how do I insert myself into this
Mm.
situation, or do I even want to do that? I paid attention to my emotional regulation. But I was so sensitive because I got myself worked up a lot without knowing that I was doing this, and I often ended up in tears. I
Yeah.
would I would be in tears if I got a B on a test, if somebody misunderstood me, if I said something awkward and I'm like, "Oh, why did I do that? I can't," all the things. If you are neurodivergent, you know exactly what we're talking about here. So, I think that it does come with a degree of honesty and boldness that I have used throughout my life as sort of like a superpower in some way because I have been oblivious
Mm.
to many different interactions. But I think it's worked out now. I mean, I'm a therapist, right? So I used how I'm made. I can see people in different ways, and I think that's what clients like.
The thing about a neurodivergent person is that we can see differently sometimes that maybe somebody who's neurotypical doesn't. And the same for them. They offer things for us that we need. And so my husband will point out something, a point of view. I'm like, I would have never thought of that ever. And I do the same thing for him. So,
Mhm.
in as much as we do identify with people who are like us, but my husband having that person think so differently, also being very loving and very accepting, has been really life altering too. So it's really good to find those people who are very different in the way that they think. Because I just remember thinking, I've got to find out who I am. But the reason I was saying that is because I didn't like who I was. I'm like, no, I'm just
Mm.
too different. I'm not like other people. I don't think the way other people think. And I felt like my value lied in being like everyone else.
Mhm. Well, that's what we're taught, right? The don't disrupt the homogeneous situation
Yes.
here, right?
Hmm.
Why do we love those movies? So we talk like movie
Hmm.
moments. Why do we call it that? Why do we love those moments where those bold, awkward things happen and it turns out great for them in the end and they get the
Yeah.
girl, get the boy, they're valedictorian of their class, they win the cheerleading. Why do we love those movies?
Hmm.
You thought that that was gonna happen. You thought that
Oh,
you were gonna ride home with this guy, and then you were gonna date for the rest of high school,
oh.
and you were gonna be, like, the most popular girl in school.
Listen, I thought I was going to do that. And he'd be like, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for you to do this. I've been waiting for you to open my door and invade my privacy and terrify me. Thank God you've come. I really thought that. And I thought, we'll just get married and have some babies and live in the country. No.
Oh my
That
goodness, oh
and
my goodness.
it's interesting because even sometimes now I have to remind myself that's not reality. So
Mhm,
don't be fooled by this. And
mhm.
don't try to act like everyone else. You can just be yourself. Do I walk away from conversations saying I said too much or I said something
Oh,
inappropriate?
very yeah.
90, probably 98% of the time.
Yeah, oh
98.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
even,
Mhm.
even Joe has been like, well, I didn't think you were going to say that. I'm like, well, neither did I, Joe. Welcome to my world.
Neither did
When you found out I was going to say that, I found out too. Okay.
we found out
We found
at
out
the same
together.
time, at the same
Like
time.
so, yeah, I mean, I reveal too much. I say too much. Nothing is
Mhm.
sacred. I go back and go, "Oh my goodness." I mean, the things I've said. Oh, and I thank God that some of the things I don't remember because I think God just does that for me. He's like, I'm gonna wipe that off. I'll wipe that clean so you don't relive that. But I mean,
Yeah, but it's really
yeah.
hard when you have somebody in your life who remembers everything that you said,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you're like, "I didn't I." And we've all been there too. They remember everything you said. They're the ones who don't give you grace. They don't really understand you, and then
Mm,
they use it against you. And then how do we feel? We
shame.
feel that shame. We feel
Yeah.
misunderstood. We feel, "Oh my goodness, I did it again." And oftentimes you feel 8 years old, 12 years old, 14. You feel like that little girl, that little boy, that teenager who experienced that feeling for the first time, even as an adult. That still happens to me at 46 years old, you know? It's and I've done the work. Grad school was not easy. It was group therapy for 3.5 years. We worked everything out. And yes, work in progress still, but it catches me off guard sometimes. Like,
Mm,
what is this feeling? And I can trace it back sometimes to those awkward moments in adolescence.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even out of college, I feel like had somebody sat me down and say, "I really think that you need to" and back then, I mean, in college and stuff, we knew what ADD was, but it wasn't something that people really talked about. You didn't have, Google at your fingertips like you do now. It's not. So I wish that I had had this guidance when I was younger of saying, "Oh my goodness, this explains so much," and even why I did crazy things. And but, like, even what I was saying is, like, with the kayak strapped to the top, I remember somebody called me out. Somebody was like, "Gwendolyn, you do not" they're like, you are not a kayaker." I'm like, I mean, have you seen I remember taking a selfie with it."
You know what? We did take our kayaks down the river. Didn't we take our kayaks down the
Yeah,
river?
and that's what I'm saying.
We
That
did.
was
It was
one
a
of 2
great
times,
day.
one of 3
Oh,
times that I've ever
okay.
used it. Oh,
Oh.
I strapped that thing up there for months, and I was like, "Oh, yeah. People are gonna see this." I even took a selfie, posted on MySpace with a nice little song. Oh, yeah, I was like, "Look at me with my
Mhm,
kayak."
mhm. Yeah.
And, I mean, but I tried other sports, like, even I was like, "I'm gonna just be sporty. That's gonna be me." People are gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, Wendolyn, she's so sporty." There
Mm.
is not a sporty bone in my body. I flail about.
You don't even like competition in any form.
No. Oh, no, 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 no. If something gets hard, I'm like, "I'm out." Like, I'm like, but for some reason, I went through a period of delusion where I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be really good at tennis."
Mm.
And so my friend and I went and played tennis, and I thought to myself, every time I tried a new sport, I thought, "You know what's probably gonna happen? I'm probably gonna be really good at this. I'm probably gonna need to be prepared. People are gonna want me to play on teams with them."
Yeah, just like a movie.
I was horrible,
You
horrible
had
at
no
all of it.
idea your
No.
potential at that point, but it was going to be amazing.
But you know what I discovered through everything? After that was done, after I was like, "I'm not gonna wear the sporty clothes, that's just not me. Um, that's just not who I am." I really started down this
Well, I
road
mean, you did
of
wear sweatpants. That's sort of sporty.
well, I mean, I didn't even know I was a trendsetter in high school, you know? When I saw that trend when we were in COVID and there was like trend on TikTok where you wear sweatpants, I'm like, I was way ahead of y'all. Way ahead. And I had every color, every color. So this was interesting. Someone asked me the other day, and she was not being rude. She said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Why do you always wear black leggings? I've never seen you in anything else." And she hasn't. Nobody has. Nobody. Not since I discovered them. Since I discovered them, it's been black leggings all the way. I mean, I don't wear anything else. Imma change the shirt, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be black
Yeah.
leggings.
Mhm.
And I said, "Oh, no, that's a valid that's a valid
That's a
question."
valid question.
I mean,
Mhm.
it is. And she goes, I mean, I just wanna know. I said, "Well, I like the feeling of them. I don't like the feeling of other fabric that touch my skin, and the tops of these leggings, I have found the perfect ones, and I am gonna gatekeep them. I'm so sorry for you other neurodivergent people who wanna wear the black leggings that I wear, but I have discovered the ones that don't like, makes me feel like I don't have anything on my belly, like, I I don't like things touching my stomach. So I have found and I told her, I said, "It's because I don't ever have to think about what I'm putting on. And I know what I'm gonna put on is going to feel good." And she goes, "Well, why don't you ever wear, like, shorts that are leggings?" I said, "Oh, it's because the wind that hits the bottom of my leg isn't gonna hit the top of my leg at the same force because I have a barrier, and so I need it all to hit my leg at the s like, feel the same." She goes, "Oh." I said, "I'm neurodivergent." She goes, "Oh." And I felt like at that moment, I was understood. She goes, "Oh, okay, okay." And I said, "Yeah, it's a thing." But
It's a
now,
thing.
like, when I tell
Oh,
people and I have to explain myself to people, there isn't the
mhm.
shame, and a
Yes.
lot of it has to do with my husband has really shown me that he loves that part of me. That was what he was attracted to, was the fact
The
that I wasn't
quirkiness.
the same.
That's another
Yes,
word, quirky. That
quirky. Mhm.
quirky. I love it.
Yeah.
I will own that all day long. I love being quirky. I don't try. I don't have to try.
No, I mean, he never knows what's gonna come out of my mouth. He doesn't know what to expect. He said it's never boring. So,
Oh,
you
no, no,
know,
no. It's never boring in your household ever. Mm-mm.
no. And so, it's just it really is coming to a point with masking. It all comes down to your value and understanding your value.
Mhm. Well, how you're made. It's how you're made. That is just embracing it. We don't even have to have a name for these things. I know we
Mm-mm.
get really caught up with diagnoses and labels, and we don't even have to have a name for it. We're using it today because it helps a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
ADD, neurodivergent, autism spectrum. Uh, put yourself anywhere.
Mhm.
Even those who are neurotypical, we have all been in these moments where we don't know how to act. We don't know how to fit in. We feel insecure, right? Yes. Do we approach the situation different than other people do?
Mhm.
Yes, we do. But that is how we're made. That's how our brain works. And now we have this information. We can do something about it. We can actually have grace with ourselves, because how many times in our lives, especially as a kid, especially as an adolescent, oh, I mean, I shouldn't even say, I mean, well into my 30s, just feeling like, what am I missing? I just did something here and I have no idea what I did. I like just shut down the room and said something. I was
Mhm.
always the person to say the thing that nobody else wanted to say. And I thought it was what we're supposed to do. I really love who I am now and pretty confident, and I can read a room. It's still, "Oh, don't say that thing. Am I gonna," not like, are they gonna like me? I just don't want to put anyone in an awkward place. I don't want anyone to feel strange by what I say or what I do.
Yeah. The other day, I was at my son's sporting practice, and this boy came up to us, and he was probably 10 years old, and he started talking to me, and I could tell there was something there. And then he looks at me and goes, "I'm really sorry. I get really nervous talking to people, and I don't know how to do it." And I said, "I think you're doing just fine, kid." You
That's
know?
absolutely precious.
Yes.
That sounds like me now,
And I think sometimes
honestly.
we just have to go, "Yeah, listen, I wear these pants because something's not right."
You're like, how did you know you were speaking to your people when you said that to me, sir?" Like, "Oh, you could not have been speaking to a better audience here,
Yeah.
let me tell you." The sensitivity in us, right? The sensitivity that you have with that little boy, that
Mhm.
he came with that sensitivity, right? With that,
Mhm.
he's just like, I don't really know what else to say. I'm really trying here." That's really sweet. I This is what we tell couples all the time in our work. One of the reasons our work with couples, I think, is so different is because we come from this place where, until we really learned ourselves and gave ourselves grace, loved how we're made, appreciated the word quirky, don't mind the word weird, we could laugh at ourselves. We knew we had
Mhm.
people around us who just saw us. We could live an authentic self and, I'll say it again, teach others about us. Our 1% shifts that we've learned throughout our lives through this. I think that you guys have definitely heard the different ways that we've learned about ourselves, the ways that we've laughed about ourselves, the moments where we've tried to create opportunities to connect with others that sometimes failed and sometimes were the best gifts ever. So we talk about doing this podcast, even putting ourselves out there. And I don't think we would have done this had we not really had support with one another and appreciate each other so much. But also, so many people are in our court because they
Mm,
know us and they love us and they care about us and they're just like cheering us on. It is so difficult to put ourselves out there here, isn't it? After all the things that we're talking about,
yeah.
you have to do that. You have to. Like you said, I was trying it on. I say that all the time, right? We say that all the time to clients. You got
Yeah.
to try it on. You
Yeah.
have to try it on or else you'll never know. And not only one time, you got to try it on. We finally came to this place and we're like, yep, we're going to do it. We're got to do it. We have to. But to get over that imposter syndrome and not to say that now we are, I don't know. I'm almost there because we're doing it, but it's not like it's not in the back of my mind. But imposter syndrome, I think, comes from this idea too, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's because you're neurodivergent. It's
Mhm.
just how am I going to be received? What judgment is going
Mhm.
to come?
Yep.
Will there be acceptance? Will people even resonate with this? Am I sharing too much about myself? Like, I have clients, they don't know about my personal life. I guess they're
Yeah.
going to learn some stuff now, right?
Mhm.
So it's been really interesting. It's a dance. But imposter syndrome is a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, I come on here and I'm like, will I share too much? The answer is yes. It's going to come out, all of it. There will be nothing that I leave behind at the point. Honestly, I mean, let's say 20 podcasts in, you're going to know things about me that my husband's going to be like, I blushed when I listened to that one. And that's okay because I've come to the point in my life where I'm understanding that we are gifted with different things. But if I'm
Mm,
not willing to give that gift to people and I'm just hoarding it, and I'm like, I just have
mm,
nothing to offer. Who am I? Who am I to tell anybody anything or experience anything and say, oh, this could benefit someone? I'm just really robbing myself and other people from
mhm.
something that could be a gift, a blessing, transformative.
To both
And
of us.
so, right. And so with imposter syndrome, my 1% has been this. When I feel it, I'm just like, I'm just going to try it on, see what happens.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I'm going to just try it on. I'm
Yeah.
just going to do it. There could be people go, oh gosh, Wendolyn, I had an awkward interaction with her when I was, yes, you did. Uh huh. Yes. And you will probably have more if you run into me. It will probably be awkward. Sometimes when my son has these practices and I sit way behind the other parents, it's not because I don't like them. It's because I'm saving you from having to experience my awkwardness. And they're really sweet and they'll be like, hi, Wendolyn. They always say hi. And I'm just like, hi. But I'm like, okay, Wendolyn, you don't have to say more. Just saying hi is good. And so I just coach myself through that. But with imposter syndrome, with these podcasts, and even when I'm in coaching sessions, sometimes I hear the lie very loudly, especially before I go on a session. I think, do I have anything to offer them? Do I
Yeah.
really have something that will benefit them? Who do you think you are that you think you can just talk someone through something?
Mm,
And then I go, no, that's not truth. That's a lie because I've seen it in my life where I've been
mhm,
blessed to be able to give somebody something that I gained wisdom from.
mhm.
And so, yeah,
And
but
they're
with
asking for it.
they
They
are
they keep
asking.
coming back, Gwendolyn. They keep
Listen, they
coming
keep
back.
coming back.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
They sure do. The 1% throughout my life, just having to think so many things through before I enter a situation. It doesn't even have to be a social situation. It could be any. I've been fired from so many jobs. I mean, so many jobs because I didn't know how to handle things. I didn't know how to say things. Like I was overwhelmed. I look, and why do you think I have my own business now?
Yeah.
You just you create and I have to get over the imposter syndrome for a lot. I did, but you know what? I created a business by 1% shifts.
Mm,
I knew that I needed to work for myself. I knew the type of clients that I wanted to work with. I knew the place that I wanted to do it. I knew that I wanted to have other people involved, and I didn't do that all at one time. I did it little by little. I didn't have an office in the beginning. I was able to do in-home therapy. I just made it work
Yeah.
throughout time, and I kept on walking through the doors when they opened, and when I didn't have that anymore, when it just continued to shut and it was like a boundary, then you pivot, right? So, all of those times that I've had to say I'm sorry, that I had to go back and say, "I realized I didn't handle that correctly. I'm not really even sure how to handle it or why that came out."
Mm,
And sometimes I have done damage and I mean, like I said, I've been fired for so many jobs, but
mhm,
I have learned from that, and
mm,
I'm not avoiding by having my own business. I learned what I need, and it's not because I need to be in charge, it's because I really do like who I am, and I couldn't be in an environment anymore where I couldn't use myself fully.
mm. I like that.
And that's what therapy is and being a therapist is to me. It's using therapist as self, and that comes with a great responsibility of making sure that I'm continuing to work on myself, that I'm being authentic, that I'm a guide. I am not an authority on your life. I am here to join with you. I don't know better than you do. You know, I can bring those things out and I can sense things and I can share observations because I've actually been doing that my whole life.
Yeah.
I have been
Wow.
observing my whole life thanks to the way that I'm made. And now
Mm,
I get to use that in this beautiful way, and I absolutely love it.
that's great. No, and you think about that 1% shift. Had somebody told me in college, "Gwendolyn, just try it on."
Mm.
As much as that's ridiculous, me trying to be a sporty person, even though I'm not, I did try it on.
You did.
You know,
You
I
did.
did.
You
I did
did.
try it on.
We are so
Uh,
happy that you joined us again. Thank you so much. Please let us know what you gather and gain from the I know we talk a lot about ourselves, especially today, but this is us. We use these stories not to say exactly who we are, but hopefully you resonate with something that we've said and you can take a 1% shift and just try something on. You don't have to know how to do it right away, and you probably won't. We are not alone in this. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time.